You are standing on the highest point on Earth. Under your boots, 8,848 meters of mountain, and 86 centimeters. That last bit took about 170 years to agree on. Two countries published two different numbers, and the gap between them was 3.5 meters. The second one was never Nepal's measurement. It came from the Survey of India in 1954. Nobody climbed it to find out. It was worked out with a theodolite from the plains, 175 kilometers away. The instrument was a theodolite, a telescope that reads the angle to a distant thing to fractions of a second of arc. The two countries were not even measuring from the same sea, though that difference is far smaller than the gap. To settle it in 2020, they had to abandon both and agree on a surface neither country owned. And the number they agreed on is not the height of the rock, it is the height of the snow on top of it. You can see the join, dark rock, and a white cap sitting on top of it. In 2023, somebody measured how deep it is. 9.5 meters, averaged across the summit ridge. Which means the published height of the rock is around 5 meters too high, and nobody has published a correction. But there is a bigger problem, and it is hiding in 3 words: above sea level. Everest is 700 kilometers from the nearest sea. So, which sea, and how would you know where it would sit? Every contour line on every map you have ever read is a line of equal height above that surface. You imagine it, you take the surface of the ocean and you continue it underneath the land. And here is the thing about that surface. It is not level. Water does not sit where you think, it sits where gravity tells it to. This is that shape, assembled one piece at a time, from the smallest lump to the finest. By the 10th step, the biggest feature has already arrived, and everything after it is detail. From end to end, the resting sea varies by 193 meters. South of Sri Lanka, there is a permanent hollow in the ocean, 106 meters deep. There is nothing there, no hole, no current, just ocean, sitting where gravity put it. It is there because low-density rock is rising in the mantle around it, rather than directly underneath, and the pole there comes out weaker. And sea level itself is a decision, fixed in brass discs set into rock, from which every other height in a country is counted. We know its shape partly because pairs of satellites chase each other around the planet, measuring the distance between them to 1 micron. And to be precise about it, that surface is level, it is the sea that is not. Wind and currents and temperature hold the real ocean up to 1.5 meters off it, permanently. Every height on every map you have ever read was measured from that shape. So if the answer depends on where you measure from, what happens if you measure from somewhere else? This is Mauna Kea, 4,200 meters above the sea, which makes it unremarkable. Seen from high-low, across the water, it barely reads as a mountain at all. It is far too wide for the eye to take as one. Except that is not where it starts. It starts 5 kilometers below the surface of the Pacific. Mapped in the same way, most of the mountain is below the waterline. Drop the 0 to the sea floor and Everest loses. Although even that number is argued about, because nobody agrees where a mountain stops. Measured from its own base, Mauna Kea is the tallest mountain on Earth. Keep going down, past the sea floor, through the crust, through the mantle, until you reach the middle, and from the middle, you can measure back out. Because the Earth is not a sphere, it spins, so it bulges, by 21.4 kilometers. And sitting almost exactly on that bulge, 1.5 degrees from the equator, is a volcano in Ecuador. Chimborazo is a snow-capped volcano that almost nobody outside Ecuador has heard of. It is more than 2,500 meters shorter than Everest. And its summit is 2,100 meters further from the center of the Earth. Climb Chimborazo, and you are further from the middle of this planet than anyone standing on Everest. There is a fourth answer, and it belongs to Alaska. Everest rises from ground that is already high. Denali stands about 3,000 meters above every peak around it, which is a fourth kind of tallest. How far a mountain stands above the land it sits in. 4 mountains, 4 definitions, 4 correct answers. Ask it 4 different ways and you get 4 different mountains. The question was never which mountain is tallest. It was tallest from where, and the surface we chose is one that nobody has ever seen. And Everest is still rising, about 2 millimeters a year. So even that answer is only true today.